If someone is incapable of distinguishing good things from bad and neutral things from either, well, how could such a person be capable of love? The power to love, then, belongs only to the wise man. Epictetus. Be honest, authentic, and congruent in your words and actions towards her. One of the most powerful and attractive qualities you can embody is radical authenticity. Modern dating is rife with games, masks, and performances as people attempt to appear more desirable by presenting curated versions of themselves. A woman's intuition can sense this incongruence like a detective sniffing out a lie. Putting on airs and telling her what you think she wants to hear may work briefly, but it's a house of cards inevitably doomed to collapse. True confidence comes from being at peace with your whole self, inconsistencies, quirks, and all. It's refreshing when a man doesn't pretend to be someone he's not, but instead owns his truths unapologetically. By being genuine and comfortable in your own skin, you demonstrate abundant self-worth and self-acceptance. This abundant mindset signals that you're not in constant people-pleasing mode, fearing rejection over the slightest transgression. It's wildly attractive. Imagine you're casually mentioning an edgy opinion, off-color joke, or unconventional interest to test her reaction. Many men would quickly backpedal after a disapproving look, rather than standing confidently behind their authentic selves. This communicates neediness and seeks her approval above self-respect. But when you hold your ground while still being considerate of her perspective, she'll be intrigued and respect your confident boundaries. She'll know she can't simply mold you into her idea of the perfect man. Honesty and transparency also foster deeper intimacy and trust. By courageously revealing your vulnerabilities, struggles, and anti-highlights, she'll perceive you as a real human, rather than a flawless image to pedestalize. This disarms her and gives permission for her to be more vulnerable and authentic in turn. You'll bond through unmasked relationships. Many women lament how difficult it is to meet a man who will be his honest self around them early on, rather than shoveling niceties desperately trying to impress. Don't confuse authenticity with indiscriminate disclosure or oversharing. There's an art to revealing intimate truths judiciously, while still maintaining boundaries and an air of mystery. Prime directive: be unapologetically yourself, then let her decide if she's a match for the real you or not. It's the ultimate filter for a compatible, drama-free relationship between two people who accept each other for who they genuinely are from the start. Develop rational self-awareness to manage insecurities or neediness elegantly. The path to a woman's heart is often derailed by insecurities festering under the surface. Neediness, jealousy, and fear of rejection can repel her interest like a force field. The strongest magnetic pull happens when you bring a grounded, unshakable sense of self-worth to your interactions. Cultivate radical self-awareness to audit the tapes constantly playing in your mind. Make peace with the harsh inner critic berating your performance and perceived flaws. This cynical voice often stems from childhood conditioning rather than reality. Gently observe and debunk these haunting refrains without judgment. For instance, feeling unworthy of her affection may manifest in favorable comparisons to other men, seeking constant reassurance, or apologizing for breathing the same air. These behaviors subconsciously manipulate for crumbs of validation at the expense of self-respect. True confidence knows it has intrinsic worth outside of her approval. Neediness is the overtly thirsty guy who falls all over himself paralyzed. She might discover he's a normie and not a unicorn. His words and actions are calculated to strategically render himself more desirable, rather than being radically transparent. She can smell this reek of insecurity and lack of abundance from a mile away. The elegant solution is to turn toward and befriend your insecurities. Shine a compassionate light on those calloused areas rather than anesthetizing or lashing out defensively. Share your tender underbelly selectively, reframing vulnerabilities as profoundly humanizing rather than flaws. This demonstrates she doesn't have the power to reject you on a core level. You've already integrated those parts. When a woman realizes she doesn't need to shrink herself around her neediness or toxicity, she can finally exhale her feminine essence. That's irresistibly attractive. Rather than pursuing her, she'll chase the transcendent depth, freedom, and realness you emit from within. Mastering these inner games puts you in a grounded prime state to naturally captivate her. Focus on what is within your control, your own behavior, efforts, and self-improvement. In the quest to capture a woman's heart and mind, many men succumb to obsessing over factors outside their control. Fixating on her behavior, mind-reading her thoughts, or fantasizing about vivid future scenarios is a surefire path to anxiety and neediness. True mastery lies in relentlessly focusing your efforts inward on the only thing you can control: yourself. Constantly improve and stretch your limits in areas that'll make you more grounded and valuable as a person, regardless of her participation. Unleash your unique genius and become more potent in skills that light up your enthusiasm. When pursuing self-mastery in this way, two things will happen. First, you'll stop subconsciously smothering and repelling her with desperate, "what about me" energy, since you're prioritizing your own contentment first. This abundant mindset, where her validation is a nice-to-have bonus, not a need, is magnetic to the feminine spirit. Second, by refusing to rent space for neediness in your psyche and staying focused in your zone of control, you'll organically develop the attractive traits every high-quality woman craves: unshakable confidence, emotional maturity, passion, ambition, and healthy boundaries. Rather than chasing and drowning in verbal and behavioral supplication, you're too consumed with your inspiring mission to even entertain approval-seeking. There's profound spiritual truth in the principle that anxious attachment breeds repulsion, freedom fosters attraction. Keeping this mantra top of mind helps reset when unhealthy limerence seizes your psyche. In those heated moments, breathe and realign your focus. Did I show up as my highest self today? Am I committed to continual growth and operating with integrity regardless of her participation? It's the only resolution that will free you from the toxicity of obsession. You can't directly control her feelings or life journey, but you can become invaluable by obsessing over your own self-actualization with inspired discipline. Prioritize this, and her perception of you may follow. The added bonus of her clearly seeing you're a phenomenal catch worth locking down long-term. Win or lose in this specific situation, you'll emerge more potent and magnetic for the next prospective partner. Have your own worthy goals and passions independent of your desire for her. One of the most powerfully attractive qualities a man can embody is having a richly passionate life outside of his romantic pursuits. Too many fall into the trap of making a potential partner the sole focal point of their existence. This neediness suffocates the dynamic and ironically repels what they crave most: her adoration. Imagine a man so consumed with his noble mission, hobbies, and growth that his interactions flow from a place of platonic warmth and non-attachment. He's already experiencing profound fulfillment through exploring his curiosities, taking bold risks in arenas he's gifted, and leaving an enduring legacy through meaningful work. His zest for life is contagious, completely independent of her joining or validating his journey. This abundance mindset magnetizes rather than chases. Most men deprioritize their passions when infatuated, willingly sacrificing the compelling drive that made them compelling humans to begin with. But the self-actualized man refuses to compromise his individuality or abandon things that enliven him, with or without a romantic partner. This unshakable sense of freedom and non-negotiable self-respect is wildly appealing. By having your own motivating quests and reasons for being, you remain in a grounded center, rather than operating from an emotionally deregulated, needy state of wanting to fill voids. You don't relinquish masculine directedness and power just for some fleeting validation hits or to keep her interested through supplicating performances. There's no agenda leaking through. You're complete as is. Additionally, Having distinctive missions aids compatibility once intimacy develops. She's able to perceive your authenticity and unique personhood versus being a bland, insecure cipher molding to her expectations. This catalyzes mutual admiration from the jump, allowing her to join and enhance your passions as a collaborative life partner. When each person retains their essence, interdependence blooms rather than unhealthy codependency. In essence, focusing profound energy on evolving your skills, exploring intrinsic interests, and leveling up systematically as a man of purpose is one of the most attractive displays. By having inspiring driving forces independent of her participation, you amplify magnetism while retaining self-possession. Exhibit courage and vulnerability. Share who you are without clinging to her acceptance. In a world where vulnerability is often seen as weakness, it takes great courage to open oneself up to another. True strength lies not in building walls, but in embracing our humanity and connecting with others on a deeper level. When it comes to matters of the heart, this rings especially true. Most men construct elaborate facades to project an idealized image, terrified of revealing any perceived flaws that could jeopardize a woman's approval. This fragile ego protection becomes transparent neediness that suffocates attraction. When you embrace vulnerability, you create space for genuine connection. By sharing your thoughts, emotions, and experiences, you invite the other person to do the same. This vulnerability fosters an environment of trust and intimacy where both individuals can truly see and understand each other beyond the surface level. There's profound emotional maturity in a man who can remain centered and unfazed by her judgments. Rather than backpedaling or justifying after baring your soul, holding centered presence signals you've integrated those parts and own them fully. She'll respect and trust you more for this strength than for constantly shape-shifting to seek temporary acceptance through approval-seeking chameleonism. True vulnerability doesn't stem from an underlying agenda to manipulate feelings. It's a transcendent merging of the tender and divine masculine, where your heart remains open despite potential rejection. No playing makes her vulnerable to earning her interest or self-invalidating for crumbs of validation. This sweet surrender of needing to control the outcome, while simultaneously expressing depth, is irresistibly attractive. When sharing more intimate aspects of yourself, frame it without loaded expectations or insecurity leaking through. You're simply narrating your truth as a self-actualized individual who can't be accepted or rejected on an ultimate level. If she chooses to disengage after seeing the authentic you, so be it. This abundance mindset signals that you have the self-esteem reserves to survive any temporary disappointment. Ultimately, exhibiting vulnerability and courage liberates you from the shackles of constant impression management and evaluation anxiety. She's drawn to finally exhale around a man who can get real without a fragile attachment to her perception. That's the sexy, confident polarity dynamic every woman craves. Don't be attached to outcomes, except that you may or may not win her heart with equanimity. Life is full of uncertainties, and when it comes to matters of the heart, the outcomes are often unpredictable. We may pour our souls into pursuing someone's affection, only to be met with rejection or indifference. It's a harsh reality that can leave us feeling shattered and discouraged. However, the true path to inner peace lies in understanding the impermanence of all things and embracing the art of non-attachment. Attachment is the root cause of much suffering. When we cling too tightly to a desired outcome, we set ourselves up for disappointment and emotional turmoil. The more we invest in a specific result, the harder it becomes to accept anything less. This attachment not only robs us of our peace of mind, but also distorts our perception of reality, blinding us to the beauty and opportunities that exist beyond our fixation. To free ourselves from this cycle of attachment and disappointment, we must cultivate the practice of non-attachment, or equanimity. This does not mean becoming indifferent or apathetic. Rather, it involves maintaining a balanced and accepting mindset, regardless of the circumstances. It's about letting go of the need to control every outcome and embracing the natural flow of life. When it comes to matters of the heart, non-attachment allows us to approach the situation with a sense of ease and openness. Instead of obsessing over whether we will win someone's heart or not, we can simply appreciate the journey and the lessons it brings. We can pour our genuine efforts into building a connection while simultaneously acknowledging that the outcome is not solely within our control. If the relationship blossoms into something beautiful, we can embrace it with gratitude and joy. However, if it doesn't work out, we can accept that reality with grace and equanimity, understanding that there are many paths to happiness and fulfillment in life. By letting go of our attachment to a specific outcome, we free ourselves from the weight of unrealistic expectations and the anguish of rejection. Embracing non-attachment does not mean giving up or settling for less. It means cultivating a profound sense of inner peace and resilience that allows us to navigate life's ebbs and flows with grace and wisdom. It's about recognizing that our worth and happiness are not contingent upon any external circumstance or person, but rather stem from the depth of our own self-acceptance and inner strength. In the end, the path of non-attachment is not an easy one, for it requires us to confront our deepest fears and insecurities. It demands that we let go of the illusion of control and surrender to the mysteries of life. Yet, it is in this surrender that we find true freedom, the freedom to love without clinging, to pursue our desires without attachment, and to embrace each moment with a sense of wonder and acceptance. So whether you win her heart or not, approach the journey with an open mind and a heart filled with equanimity. In doing so, you will discover a profound truth: that true happiness and fulfillment reside not in the attainment of any specific outcome, but in the depth of your own being and the beauty of the present moment. Listen attentively when she speaks and try to understand her perspective. Few acts are as profound and transformative as truly listening. Too often, we find ourselves caught up in the whirlwind of our own thoughts and preconceptions, merely waiting for our turn to speak rather than fully engaging with the person before us. However, when we consciously choose to listen with an open heart and mind, we unlock a gateway to deeper understanding, empathy, and authentic connection. Imagine the profound impact of lending your undivided attention to the woman whose heart you seek to understand, and perhaps even win. By quieting the incessant chatter of your mind and tuning into the nuances of her words, her tone, and her body language, you open yourself to a world of insight that may have previously eluded you. Each utterance, each pause, and each fleeting expression becomes a window into her inner landscape, a tapestry woven with hopes, fears, dreams, and experiences that have shaped her unique perspective. True listening is an act of humility and respect. It acknowledges that the person before you is a multifaceted being, worthy of being truly seen and heard. When you listen attentively, without judgment or the need to formulate a response, you create a safe space where she can freely express herself, secure in the knowledge that her words are being received with care and consideration. As you immerse yourself in her narrative, strive to suspend your own preconceptions and biases. Seek to understand her viewpoint, even if it differs from your own. Embrace the richness of her experiences, for they have molded her into the remarkable individual she is today. By doing so, you cultivate a deep well of empathy, allowing you to see the world through her eyes and gain a profound appreciation for the complexities that shape her reality. Remember, listening is not a passive act. It is an active engagement that requires your full presence and attention. Maintain eye contact, nod when appropriate, and offer gentle prompts or questions that encourage her to delve deeper into her thoughts and feelings. This dynamic interplay of speaking and listening creates an atmosphere of trust, vulnerability, and mutual respect, the very foundation upon which authentic connections are built. The greatest gift we can offer another human being is the gift of being truly heard and understood. When you listen attentively to the woman whose heart you seek, you honor her essence, her story, and her unique place in this world. And in doing so, You may just find that the barriers between you begin to dissolve, revealing a profound understanding that transcends words and touches the very core of the human experience. So listen, not just to respond, but to comprehend the depths of her perspective. For in that act of attentive listening lies the key to forging a bond that has the power to transform lives and uplift souls. Demonstrate care and goodwill through your actions, not just words. We live in a world of talkers, not doers. Empty promises and hollow words are all too common. But true care and goodwill can only be demonstrated through actions that positively impact those around us. Talking about being a good person means little if our behavior doesn't back it up. It's easy to say, "I care about others," or "I want to make the world a better place." But do we actually take the time to listen to others' struggles? Do we inconvenience ourselves by lending a helping hand? Do we speak up against injustice when it would be easier to stay silent? The real test of goodwill lies in our deeds, not our rhetoric. Small acts of kindness like holding the door, giving someone your undivided attention, or offering a compliment can brighten someone's entire day. Volunteering time for worthy causes, standing up for the mistreated, and making ethical choices in our daily lives are bigger demonstrations of caring. Caring only counts when we roll up our sleeves and take the hard right over the easy wrong. When we speak up rather than remaining silent bystanders. Imagine the profound impact you could have on the woman whose heart you seek to understand, and perhaps even win, by letting your actions speak louder than your words. It is through the tangible manifestations of your care and goodwill that she will come to know the depth of your commitment and the authenticity of your intentions. Words, no matter how eloquent or well-intentioned, can be fleeting and easily forgotten. But actions, those tangible expressions of our values and character, leave an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of those around us. It is through our actions that we demonstrate our willingness to show up, to be present, and to put forth the effort required to create meaningful connections. Perhaps you could surprise her with a thoughtful gesture, a small act of kindness that speaks volumes about your attentiveness to her needs and desires. It could be as simple as preparing her favorite meal, remembering a special occasion that holds significance for her, or offering a listening ear during a moment of struggle. These seemingly small acts carry immense weight, for they communicate that you are truly present, that you see her, and that her well-being is a priority. Words are cheap, but actions have meaning. It's the cumulative impact of a million little acts of kindness that makes someone truly care. Don't just be a talker, be a doer who makes the world a little bit better through your deeds. Practice separating facts from negative judgments about yourself or the situation. The path to a woman's heart is often fraught with self-doubt, insecurity, and negative judgments that can derail even the most determined pursuer. However, by embracing the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, one can cultivate a mindset that transcends these self-imposed barriers, revealing the true art of connection. At the core of Stoicism lies the principle of separating facts from judgments. In the realm of courtship, this means distinguishing between the objective reality of a situation and the subjective interpretations we impose on it. For instance, when a woman declines an invitation, the fact is merely her response, devoid of any inherent meaning. It is our judgment that labels this fact as a rejection and attaches negative connotations to it. By recognizing this distinction, we can free ourselves from the grip of self-defeating thoughts and emotions. Instead of wallowing in the perceived rejection, we can objectively assess the situation and adapt our approach accordingly. Perhaps she was preoccupied or had conflicting plans, facts that carry no judgment of our worth. This principle extends beyond specific instances and into our overall self-perception. Too often, we allow negative judgments about our appearance, intelligence, or charm to cloud our interactions with potential partners. Yet these judgments are mere opinions, not facts. The reality is that each of us possesses unique qualities that can captivate the right person. Focus on what is within our control our thoughts, actions, and intentions, rather than obsessing over external circumstances or the reactions of others. By cultivating self-awareness, we can identify and challenge the negative judgments that undermine our confidence and authenticity. Embrace adversity as an opportunity for growth. A woman's disinterest or perceived setback in the courtship process should not be viewed as a failure, but rather as a chance to refine our approach, to learn, and to develop resilience. The art of winning a woman's heart lies not in superficial tactics or gimmicks, but in cultivating a mindset of equanimity, self-acceptance, and genuine connection. By separating facts from negative judgments, we can approach courtship with clarity, confidence, and a willingness to adapt, qualities that are truly attractive and enduring. Appreciate the present moment together rather than ruminating about the future. In the quest to win a woman's heart, it is all too easy to become consumed by thoughts of the future, fantasizing about the blissful relationship that may blossom or fretting over the potential pitfalls that could derail it. However, by embracing the Stoic principle of living in the present moment, one can cultivate a deep and genuine connection that transcends the trappings of anxiety and expectation. The future is an illusion, a constantly shifting mirage that we can never truly grasp. By fixating on what may or may not come to pass, we squander the precious moments unfolding before us, moments that hold the true essence of life and love. It is in the present that we can fully appreciate the company of another without the distortions of hope or fear clouding our perception. Imagine a first date filled with the nervous anticipation of what might blossom from this initial encounter. A mind preoccupied with the future might become consumed by questions like, will she like me? Could this be the start of something special? Such thoughts, born of desire and apprehension, serve only to distance us from the reality of the moment, preventing us from truly connecting with the person before us. Rather than speculating about the future, we can savor the subtle nuances of her laugh, the warmth of her presence, and the depth of her words. By anchoring our awareness in the present, we open ourselves to the rich tapestry of human connection, free from the constraints of expectation. This is not to say that we should wholly abandon our aspirations for the future. Stoicism acknowledges that it is natural and even beneficial to have hopes and goals. However, it cautions against becoming enslaved by these desires, allowing them to overshadow the beauty and richness of the here and now. Each conversation, each shared experience, holds the potential for profound intimacy and understanding, if we are present enough to receive it. By savoring the moment, we create a fertile ground for genuine connection to blossom, untainted by the weight of future projections. Moreover, living in the present cultivates a sense of equanimity and resilience, qualities that are deeply attractive in a partner. When we are not tethered to the whims of our desires and fears, we can approach each interaction with a sense of ease and authenticity, fostering an environment in which true vulnerability and intimacy can flourish. Let go of expectations and approach courtship with an open, authentic presence. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on cultivating a life of virtue, fulfillment, and deep human connection through the lens of ancient philosophy. Share your thoughts below.